Hey there, welcome to your GSPN NBA Cup coverage, folks. For the second time in the history of our podcast network, the Milwaukee Bucks are champions, 2024 NBA Cup champions. Rohan, I'll throw it to you first, also joined by the illustrious Jordan Treske. Ooh, we're not in the right boxes. I'm Jordan and Jordan's me. I'm going to
This
fix
is
that
this
in a
is two
second.
pods in a row. This happened on Primo.
That
This
is
is
true.
Cup. I wasn't involved in that one. That one wasn't my
That was
fault.
a new mock. New mock.
That was a new mock. This one is a tie. We're on the same wavelength right now. We're presented by Prize Picks. You can use code Eurostep to get $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. But I am Ty, not Jordan. We'll get that fixed in a second. But Rohan, you're correctly attributed. You have to go first because you called this. Was that after the first Cup seeding game?
I think
when you
so.
said, you know what? If they win the NBA Cup, the season's a success regardless. Rohan, are you done? Are you going to show up to the pod next time, or are you just clocking out? I mean, you finished the work early here.
I have some PTO accumulated for GSPN.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take some time, just coast until June. Because why do you need to? They won the NBA Cup. But in all seriousness, what an accomplishment. I mean, I'll take the credit in saying I called it. That's awesome. Uh, But you saw from the first game that this Bucks team played in the seeding games, they took it as an opportunity to get themselves right. They used it as a vehicle to really improve their team, test themselves in competitive environments, and they managed to help bring themselves out of that deep hole they were in. And now they're above 500, they're NBA Cup champions, and they look like they're clicking on all cylinders. They were able to hold the Oklahoma City Thunder at 81 points today. They were able to dominate a team offensively who came in as the number one rated defense in the NBA. And they wiped the floor with the best team in the Western Conference in a high stakes winner take all game. This NBA Cup has been a journey of the Bucks trying to find themselves, gradually getting better and being able to come out the other side a better and complete team. And you get a trophy.
And you get a trophy, and you get $514,000. Liam Robbins gets a house in Iowa.
He
There's
gets
a lot of big
250?
dubs. What do you mean?
I think they get half. I think the two ways get half.
Okay, still enough for a house in Iowa, I would think. Plus all the other. I mean, it's not. Is it cumulative? Like, is this? You know what I mean? You get some if you lose, right? Did they lock in an amount, or is it
I
what
don't
you
think
got
you
for
lock in
winning?
them out.
Okay, so they still not bad. Not bad for some two ways who did not play in this game. Jordan, I want to hear from you on the second ever NBA Cup MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo's performance, because as Rohan said, the OKC Thunder, I'm not even going to sit here and take shots at OKC. I know Bucks fans like to, whoever they're playing. It's a great team. And by adjusted defensive rating, one of the best defensive teams of all time. And that defense was real. I mean, life was not easy for the Bucks offensively. The Bucks defense, on the other hand, which we'll get to later, which, I talk about that March 2024, this year, game against the Thunder. That was the defining game of Giannis, Chris, Dame, and Doc, I would say, until this one. Oh, I guess Chris wasn't here. But anyway, Jordan, Giannis, who I thought was tremendous against just I don't know, a conveyor belt of knives defense. That's what OKC feels like when you're going up against them.
It was remarkable in all the Giannis ways. Clearly, I think part of it too was, he's playing arguably the best he's ever played consistently, like at least in the regular season, and everything as hard as it is to score against the league's best team, he made it look really easy. And that's what's remarkable. Like, I thought it really opened up for him late in the second quarter when he's getting a lot of the post elbow touches, and he would just be like throwing lobs or throwing swing passes. And the way that he was orchestrating the offense, he knew how, like, he may have been not, or he wasn't scoring the way like to start the game that we kind of anticipated, but he still was just like pulling the strings, and they didn't have an answer. Like, Hardenstein is a good, well-rounded big, but outside of that, you need that kind of tweener forward that's gonna guard out Giannis on the perimeter, where he's gonna, the short areas that he's obviously setting up shop in, and they just didn't have any answer for that. And
It's theoretically Chet in some situations.
yes, exactly. That's what the point that I was going to make is that this is an NBA Finals preview, it would be Chet Holmgren most certainly on Giannis in those situations. But like compared to like the Celtics or kind of those teams of that mold that can kind of, or the Heat like a couple years ago, that could kind of just put a bigger body that can move as well laterally on Giannis. It just wasn't there. I thought like when they're throwing up lobs and it's just coming so easy for him. He just was doing everything that he could do, and it's a hard fought win. It's nice. They only put up 97 points, but compared to how well and how complete this performance was, the best, most complete performance of the season, easily. It just made Giannis's life that much easier that he could do on a night where they didn't have Chris Middleton. He could do the things where he's playing all bench lineups and he's point guard. He's doing this. He's doing that. He was gassed for a lot of the third quarter. It was still like doing Giannis things, which is remarkable.
Giannis on the night, 26 points, 19 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks, 52% from the field, 54% from free throw. We'll gloss over that part of things. I thought the end of the third quarter when Dame sat, because one of the things I realized kind of early to mid third is, and this is the best defense in the league. I think that's pretty well established at this point. Doesn't matter. Giannis and Dame on the court, they're going to open looks. Like the Bucks offense, they're going to find looks when those two guys play together. But I said, okay, how can they go when they stagger, right? Dame's going to rest, then Giannis is going to rest. Turns out pretty well. Giannis at the end of the third, I thought was the most surgical Giannis we've seen like since 2021, maybe 2022. But honestly, I don't know. Just the way he controlled that game, there's not many times when he's done it to that degree where just nothing's really working. They can't get any offense going. They really miss Chris in those kind of situations, I think. And he just said, I'm going to get to the line. I'm going to get a bucket. We're going to keep it moving. I thought it was so impressive. And then Dame without Giannis kind of blew it open to start the fourth because unlike OKC, the Bucks role players were not cold at all from three. They were able to hit shots. But what an remarkable performance from Giannis. I mean, why did we even do this, though? Game doesn't count.
Yeah, none of these stats are recorded. They are recorded, but they don't count towards literally anything.
I don't even know. Can you even say they're recorded? Like, you can't pull it up on Basketball Reference, I don't think, can you?
You can just pull up the individual box score, I think.
You just have to pull up the game. Yeah. There's not like a separate... It should be like a separate stats page.
But then it's just like you average, if you're Giannis, you're averaging 26 points per NBA Cup championship game.
I want to see. I just want to see it more and get reminded of the NBA Cup championship win. I clearly was being sarcastic just to make sure. Everyone is well aware. I've been a Cup proponent and I'm a big fan of this.
I don't know why. They could have rested their guys and had a week off.
Yeah. I want to say, if you're a national media pundit and you think about putting out a Giannis trade rumor, watch the speech he gave when he got the MVP to this thing. Tell me he's going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. I just think the Giannis and Dame redemption arc we're getting this season is beautiful after the 2-8 start. I mean, Doc made some changes, the rotation, everything else. Those two guys just locked in, though, and they had the beautiful hug when they checked out of the game. I mean, Giannis is gassing up Dame as an all-75 player, and the on-court partnership has been great, too. Rohan, what did you see from those two, either together or whatever, individually in this game?
Well, I think just for those two together on court, it's the best it's ever been, given it's a small sample. It's like, a year and 2 months, but it's the best it's ever been. Giannis said as much in his MVP speech. It's so dynamic in a way that they've found a way to really feed off of each other, but also get their own and not realize that they have to push themselves or be different players to really fit in. They got to fit in rather than fitting out. And that's what they're doing. It's we're seeing these two sort of coalesce on a different level than we have seen previously. And it's especially good to see it in high pressure situations like the NBA Cup finals. You have to see Giannis just dissecting that defense from OKC, excuse me. And you get to see Dame doing what Dame does. He's hitting outrageous threes. It's full Dame time. I had to bring out the watch for this one, but
there we go. You're not going to catch him without a watch 2 pods in a row. Also, fitting you quoted another NBA Cup champion to to
All
illustrate
I'm
the Giannis and
saying
Dame
is the
partnership.
two NBA Cup MVPs in NBA history are LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo. If
Shows you
that
it
doesn't
works.
speak to the legitimacy that they are trying to build with this thing, I don't know what will.
That's a great point. Dame, 23 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. His steal was incredible. He picks 1 or 2 spots per game where he just says, you know what, I'm gonna create 3 points for our team by making the perfect dig into the help rotation. I think he was it from Hartenstein. He poked it away. It led to a nice Bucks fast break. 6 of 12 from the field, 5 of 10 from 3, 6 of 7 from the free throw line. Just felt like every time you're like, oh, I just don't know if the Bucks offense is gonna have enough here. I don't know if they have, can they get enough shots, and things are really gumming up. And oh, here comes the OKC comeback. Bam, big Dame 3 early in the game, set the tone. Had some really big ones in the fourth quarter. I think I got probably about as well, not as negative as anyone. People online are insane. I got pretty negative about the Dame thing late last year, and I just feel like this whole season has been him showing that off-season routine and the familiarity and everything else is just so important. Also, not having to hopefully make a coaching change in January. I guess I shouldn't. We don't know. I mean, we're not there yet. I guess it could happen. I sure hope not. It sure seems like they're a lot better off right now than they were. I want to talk about just the Bucks team defense, including some individual performances. First, we have shout out to the 121 people watching. Appreciate you. We got 16 likes. Not a good ratio. We're putting up OKC 3-point shooting percentages there. So can we get some likes? Can we crash the algorithm here? Please and thank you. I thought this was going to be the Andre Jackson Jr. defensive pod. And then they kind of cut his minutes a little bit because I will say, we'll talk about Ajax. I thought he made the right decisions with all of his 3-point shots. He just didn't have it. And I think Doc moved in a different direction. I understand that. AJ Green kind of comes in and just picks up the mantle and runs with it on guarding Shea and J-Dub. Had probably the Bucks' best defensive possessions on Jalen Williams, aka J-Dub, were AJ Green in the second half, and then he took over on Shea too. Those two guys, they need to turn the ball over less. They had some bad early turnovers. They did clean that up. But them not fouling was going to be such a key in this game because we know Shea is a free throw magnet. The Bucks did a great job keeping him off the line. And we know both of those players can get a little eager with their fouls. Ajax, it's been a thing on him, but AJ Green fouled out against Atlanta, so he's not immune from that either. Let me pull up, I should have had it before I started talking, how many fouls they had. I mean, Ajax had 2, AJ Green had 2. So neither one of those guys in foul trouble whatsoever. And with them, and I'll say Gary Trent Jr. also did a very good job later in the game. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander took 4 free throws. I mean, if you told me that alone, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander 4 free throws, thinking the Bucks, that's probably a really good sign for Milwaukee. Maybe he opens up a bunch of threes, maybe other things, but that's such a key. You could tell it was a key for them, and they just played out the game plan to perfection.
I agree. I think clash of styles in terms of like SGA versus Andre Jackson Jr. in terms of like SGA is this kind of methodical, very silky, but doesn't play too fast, plays his own speed, and that could not contrast further with Andre Jackson Jr. And I felt like, yeah, there were some moments. I mean, there was the little scuffle that Hardenstein. I didn't really get it because it wasn't like he put him in this like very kind of like troublesome position. I understand like the lifting up his teammate and all that stuff, but by and large,
well, it was like he got so mad because the Ajax like had a hand on Shea going around a screen. Like, he acted like it was a dangerous play.
You've seen more reckless plays by Andre Jackson Jr. before. That's a 2 on that scale. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
mean, that's a 2 on anyone's scale. That's not a dangerous play. He had a hand on him. Be mad at the ref, not Ajax.
But I thought he played as about like he didn't make threes. He didn't really offer much offensively. Yet you're still gonna love his defense that he brings to the floor because that's what he's gonna do. And we saw in the playoffs last year too. It's like it could be one-sided, but he's a net positive player on one side of the ball, and it's hard to not have that against the best perimeter scorer on the other team. So when you're winning those minutes and AJ Green's not just holding his own, but sliding really well, I thought again he's had moments like you mentioned the Atlanta game. You think even the Heat NBA Cup game, he fouled out of that one. Like there are times where he can just gets caught in the wrong place at the wrong
He
time.
juts the chest. That's his
Yes.
thing. He juts his chest into guys where you have to stay at the level. He exceeds the level. That's his most common foul.
But if those two are bringing you positive minutes and you're getting that from the young guys, it just kind of fuels the fire of everything else. Like they are the Bucks fountain of youth, and to have that rolling like they did tonight, it helps everything else just kind of raise the tide or rise the tide, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, 48 minutes of those guys has helped the Bucks tremendously. They pretty much always have one of them out there in the normal rotation. Rohan, what were your thoughts on Milwaukee's defense, especially on alleged MVP candidate Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. He's still an MVP candidate. We just saw the greater of two today.
Yeah.
And that's just what happened. But defensively, I think it was so interesting to watch Andre Jackson Jr. specifically just try to deny everything on Shai early. They were almost Kawhi-solating him early on, and I'm like, what? Ajax is getting this kind of respect, and it was crazy to see, and it was effective. Like we saw in this game without the ancillary pieces for OKC sort of doing their thing. If Shai's taken out of the game, that's the recipe for success. Again, one game, but without Chet still. But it's one thing to keep in mind about this OKC team, right? It's the Bucks made a calculated decision to be able to try and take out Shai of this game as much as possible and let the other guys do whatever they want. And it was an uncharacteristic shooting night that they caught them on, but the plan worked. The plan worked in that regard, and I thought it was very well executed in the sense that everyone else is going to have to beat them. Shai is not going to beat them because if you give him the opportunity, more often than not, he's going to. He just didn't have the opportunity tonight.
You know what the OKC supporting cast reminded me of in this game?
The 2011 2022 Milwaukee Bucks in the playoffs, because that's what I thought of.
I would say like 2018, 2019, like the ancillary, like, when we had to discover the difference between real shooters and fake shooters.
It's like when Middleton got hurt. That's what it reminded me of.
Well, it's just like the shooting percentages on some of these guys look great. The Bucks were like, yeah, we don't care what your percentage is, Lou Dort. Like if you're gonna shoot a three over Shai getting to the line, like we're gonna take that. Or really everyone on their team. I mean, even Isaiah Joe got loose, and I know he has not had the same shooting year this season that he did last season. But he was the guy I was like, okay, a couple of these are gonna fall. Like Pat Connaughton has 4 screens behind him. He's got all day to gather this thing. Still couldn't do it. And listen, is there a little shooting luck there? Maybe. Also, if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, everyone would have a Merry Christmas. The game is the game. The Bucks deny Shai, take away the paint, and just say good luck. The funny thing is, to start the game, the Thunder acted like they were going to capitalize on that. Hart is 4 for 4 on these ridiculous contested floaters, and at the halftime interview is like, if they're going to give me the floater, I can take that. I can make that all day. All day did not translate to the second half, apparently, and Lou Dort took a Kobe shot and made it, like the turnaround fade. I was like, all right, if those guys are going to make those, you're going to lose, right? Like, if they're going to have that kind of a day, that's a ball game. You can only take away so much, and they did not have that kind of a day for the rest of the game. And I thought Milwaukee did a better job, even with the great defense. Giannis and Dame still got their shots. Like, I think unless the offense is really rolling, and it was obvious early it wasn't for OKC in terms of like their complementary players, their shooters, you can't just let Shai get taken out of the game. Like we've said this with Dame before, like you can't let a team totally remove Dame from the game. He's too important. And the Bucks have a Giannis, right? Like the Thunder don't have that even bigger piece than Shai. I think that just sunk them. I like, to your point, Rohan, I couldn't believe they would give up. He would give up. Like many possessions in a row, face guarded from 70 feet, and the Thunder just go, well, we'll let J-Dub and Kason Wallace run the offense. And the Bucks said, okay, works for us, man. Really inspiring stuff from Ajax. And I think while Green and Trent had really good defensive possessions on Shai too, the ball denial is where Ajax differentiated himself. I think this game is going to change his whole perception around the league from the hustle guy that the Bucks have that they need because they're a bad defense to no, he's a great defender who can really make life hard on excellent. I mean, again, one of the 5 best offensive players in the league, and the impact Ajax had was profound on him.
I mean, if you're shutting down the third best scorer in the league right now, SGA, right? Um, that says a lot about where Andre Jackson Jr. in particular is right now.
Yeah.
And again, like there's just something about having it's this moment in time of like there's a lot we could talk about like where the start of this season was. The fact that those guys in particular were not really in the rotation is like kind of you figure out what puzzle piece to put in night to night. And then when you're 1-6 or 2-8 or whatever it was just like, okay, we're gonna just reassemble the rotation. We know we have like the 2 stars. Brooke is always gonna be starting. Gary Trent Jr. playing as bad as he did. Like everything kind of opened up the door for just reassembling everything, not just young guys getting in there. But I think in particular with someone like Andre Jackson Jr., who does he can get in foul trouble, he can get a quick hook if he's not hitting shots. I thought Doc there were times tonight where if he's struggling or not even willing to shoot threes from corner attempts, you'd have that like intuition of like, okay, I'm going to pull that guy.
Yep.
And he's still kind of stuck with him longer than I anticipated. It obviously helped that the Thunder were just very lifeless offensively, but that's also in part because Andre Jackson Jr. is doing everything to wear them down. And I think for that team specifically, as you mentioned, like you see the limitations. It's the NBA Cup and everybody's going to downplay. It's like, oh, it's December and there's still a long way to go. But I think this is
if it was easy, everyone else could have won it too, Jordan.
I agree. but I think for the Thunder, it's like you kind of have to take stock of where a team is at. And I would say you see a lot of the things that dogged them or led to their exit in the playoffs last year came home to roost tonight too. Like even without Chet, and he's such a massive piece of that team. But the Bucks, for a team that is viewed as lacking defensively, did not have that much of a problem playing in a way that harkened back to like how they looked at the peak of Bud's time in Milwaukee.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, just a side note on OKC, like, because I was talking about this with someone today. Do they start Chet and Ihart together when he's back, or how much do they play that lineup? I don't know if they for sure. I think they like being small.
I think that's your best combination, though.
We'll see. We've never seen it, so it's a tough spot for them.
It's going to obviously depend on what matchup you get. Yeah, I mean,
maybe against the Bucks you do.
A team like the Bucks, you have to do it. At least to start. There's no other way. But out west, you can. I mean, literally trade rumors during the game regarding Denver were being reported. I was like, this is a weird time to talk about Zach LaVine being leaked there. I was like, whatever.
Strange.
Very
strange.
The post-Woj world has opened up it's a desert out there, guys. It's a desert. But yeah, I thought that like I'm trying to think of other. It just reminded me of like watching the Bucks, like the Boston series in like 22, and I think that is when we have all said that Giannis, that was probably even the best version of Giannis in a Bucks uniform, even after putting up 50 in the finals before. It's like that is just like what he looks like when he's in total command and he's hitting shots not just at the paint or down at the rim and anything like that, but he made them look so small. And I did not really anticipate that coming into the game, given that they're kind of this youthful athleticism kind of team that would, on paper, give the Bucks fits. And they just didn't play like that at all. And I think that was honestly the most shocking outcome of this game. And it's one, but yeah, I felt like they played into the Bucks' hands a little bit that way.
I thought Giannis's the little just like dump it into the rim turnaround for him was like the biggest shot of the day. I think the mid-rangers are nice, but that like, oh, Caruso's on me. I'm just going to rise up and just like dump the ball into the basket. There's nothing he can do about it. Also, probably my favorite play of the game is when it got blocked off his chrome dome.
Absolutely.
It was such a
absolutely.
satisfying play.
Ellen
Such a
Giannis has been doing
satisfying
that
play.
Caruso for
dude.
many years now, and that it looks so easy. That's when we'd always talk about like Horford especially, and when Giannis cracks the code of just seeing these people for multiple games, whether it's because of a playoff series or just years, and when he just gets it, it's like, oh yeah, there's no going back. Yeah, I mean, there might be
Yeah.
bad Giannis nights, but it's not like this guy locked him down. That just doesn't exist anymore.
Well, no, I was thinking about that during the game too, because you're like, oh, Milwaukee basically has a whole like spot in their lineup at any given point. It's just to annoy Shea. Like that's all Ajax is there to do, and like that's a different kind of pressure on a player. That's like the whole other team to Giannis every single game. And in this, like they would show the replays, like the help comes and they're loading up on one side, and he immediately feels it, spins the other way, and gets to the rim. Like what he's doing every game is insane. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if there's ever been an NBA player who
Can you
does
say
it
best
this
in the world
way.
now, Ty?
Yeah, I'll say best in the world
There
now.
you go. You were hesitant.
I'll say
like,
best in the
a
world
week and a
now.
half ago.
Well, they keep winning games, and he keeps playing as good, well defensively as well, which is huge.
Yes.
And I think we got Mark Jones told us that Doc challenged Giannis to play DPOY level defense, and his help side defense has been up a level, and they need it. I mean, they need him to be great defensively. Hopefully, they don't need him to do this much heavy lifting in every single game offensively. I mean, they don't. This OKC team is really good, but one of the most complete two-way performances from Giannis. Another great Dame game. I'll throw it out. Who else has strong feelings about anyone we haven't yet talked about?
I got one.
Shoot.
Gary Trent Jr. They played a hell of a
Scary
game.
Gary. Yeah.
Scary
Yep.
Gary was scaring everybody out there. I thought he
Scaring
was
me at first.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there's
was
some
worried.
shaky moments. But 13 points off the bench, 3 of 6 from 3. His defense is really good. Like he might have the weirdest fouls that just come out of nowhere. Like that one where he just like basically fouled Giannis, but they called it on like it was like,
Yeah,
oh,
where he pushed
He
Dort
shoved
into Giannis.
Dort into Giannis.
Yeah.
and it's just like, huh.
Yeah, I
It's like-
saw that and I was like outraged. I thought it was on Giannis at first. I was like, Dort flew into him. And then I saw the replay. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Gary just did shove him. I'm like, Gary, I think Giannis can just grab the board there. I don't
Yeah.
think you need to do that.
I just think he's kind of, they're finding ways to make him very useful defensively, and it differs to like what we kind of thought with like Malik Beasley last year. It's like, yeah, he'd take on the harder defensive assignments paired to Dame, and obviously, for what it's worth, he played better than what we expected, but there was certainly some limitations in that way. Gary Trent Jr. I don't think they're trying to make that same mistake happen or like put too much on
Yeah.
his shoulders.
Yeah.
And you just see like how disruptive, like whether it's playing that Raptor system of like just wreaking havoc off the ball, that has helped him. It just feels more efficient defensively or maximizing his value defensively. Where, like with Dame with his help side defense, I thought he had 2 possessions where he at least got the ball, just like he read the pass, he knew he was going to swing, just instantly, and then got the Bucks running. There was
Yep.
another or like play like that, maybe even like minutes later. Like when that stuff was happening tonight, it's like this Thunder offense has no way of getting off the ground. It was just so dead in the water.
Yeah, I mean, so much of basketball, especially nowadays, is different math problems, and I think the Bucks don't usually get a lot of offensive rebounds. They got some against this tiny team, but not a ton. They were out-stolen 8-3 in the first half. So the Bucks had 8 turnovers. The Thunder only had 3, and I thought a big part of increasing the lead in the second half was the Bucks, to your point, Jordan, started to turn over OKC, and then the math just really swung in their favor because they were playing better offense and they had more possessions. They're probably going to need to continue forcing more turnovers than we're maybe used to seeing from just the historic Bucks, like the Giannis era Bucks, because they really do, they just get back, right? They know they need to get back. They still give up some transition and semi-transition. They've made that call. They're last in offensive rebounding. If they can continue forcing turnovers, though, I think that the math will still work out for them. Here's an analogy for Scary Gary. I think he's a reliever. I think he is not the guy who should start the game guarding the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but like this was a perfect example. Shai's already tired. He's been getting chased around the whole game. Now Gary can take him for however many possessions and like kind of just fill the gaps, cause some havoc. And I think offensively too, it's helped him. I think offensively, like he's just in more of a rhythm now. Like I think his offense wouldn't fall off a cliff again, but I think he should keep coming off the bench. I think he will. I think his defense is better suited that way. Like I don't think he should be the guy to set the tone because like early in that game, there were a couple straight line drives at him with OKC guys got like 3 feet of space. It's like that's untenable. He got it together, but I think this new role on the Bucks for him is perfect, which is crazy because we all were like, he's obviously the starter. He's got to be the starter. We've seen these different lineups. And I just think this configuration is what works best for this team.
It's what works best for Gary too, right? Like he's not tasked to really well suited to be that guy on this team, but he can be that reliever, that innings eater, we can say, on this team. And I think he does a good job in spurts on like these high pressure defensive situations, but it's just like you don't like you were saying, you don't really want to have that the entire time. You got to mix it up a little bit. It reminds me a little bit. I don't even want to say this. I'm gonna love this. I don't even want to say this.
I'm gonna love this no matter what.
It reminds me of the 2021 series against the Nets where you're trying to guard Kevin Durant. You need to throw different looks at everyone, and that's what the Bucks are doing with these guys because they don't have like a quote unquote stopper, right? Like Ajax is the most equipped to be that role, but he's not like a true stopper. Because of his offensive limitations, it's tough to keep him on the court the entire game. He can do a majority of the work, but as we even saw in this game, it's tough to do it the entire time.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
So you have to throw a bunch of different looks, whether it's Ajax, AJ Green, sprinkle in some Gary Trent. They all have different defensive styles. So being able to throw all these different looks at star players, it throws them off. It doesn't let them build a rhythm. And I think that the versatility really works in the Bucks' favor in that regard.
Greg Buckner. Nuckner if you Buckner, you know what I mean?
I know. I called him out, and ever since that first 10 games, he has been – the Bucks defense has been dialed in. I want to talk more about Doc Rivers, who – here's a theory I have first.
Ooh. I also have a theory that I will follow after yours.
Yeah, I want to save yours. This is a quick theory. I think he is volunteering to the networks to do the halftime coach interview. Because I can't remember a time this year when the Bucks have been on national TV and it's not been Doc.
Wait, that's so true because they don't do it for the other coaches.
No, I like Mark Daigneault. They didn't know he existed on the broadcast every game. And when it's Stan, it's the funniest because in Stan Van Gundy's voice, you can hear like his preference would be on with Doc for the whole second half. He yearns to talk to Doc. He's like, Doc, what are you seeing out there, man? And Doc is just giving it to him. He volunteers. That's my theory. I have another theory. That's everyone listening should download the Prize Picks app and use promo code Eurostep to get $50 to get $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app. There's a link in our description here on YouTube or on audio platforms if you are listening after the fact to this podcast commemorating the Bucks 2024 NBA Cup Championship. Never gets old. If you're not familiar, Prize Picks is the best place to bet, to play real daily fantasy and win real money. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. I'll share a couple of my favorites. Jaden Reed rushing yards. I know this is not we have a Packers guy, but this is not a Packers podcast. Ooh. Every time I make one on Football Sunday, I'm like, you know what? It's always like 2.5. I just need him to do a play. One game they didn't do a play, but if they give him a run, he's going to get that. Damian Lillard made threes has been a good one for me lately. Andre Jackson Jr. points, rebounds, and assists. That's tricky. Sometimes he doesn't get the minutes. This game, I didn't see what it was. I was too locked in on the game action. Probably wouldn't have worked. AJ Green points also has been a good one now that he's playing a little bit more. Prize Picks is showing him some love. If you want to use those picks or any others to set up a lineup, again, download the Prize Picks app today and use code Eurostep. You get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. If you're a new user, that is promo code Eurostep to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Jordan, what's your Doc Rivers theory?
It's actually not a Doc Rivers theory, but
okay.
Man said I had a Doc Rivers theory and said, I
I
don't have a thought.
I
don't have a Doc Rivers.
I said
I was led to believe.
I have a theory after you.
Okay.
So part of this NBA Cup run is we've seen the return of Thanasis Antetokounmpo.
Oh, here we go.
Sitting courtside in Vegas. It just so happens to coincide with Giannis playing the best basketball of his career. I wonder, John Horst has a mandate. I'm not re-signing Thanasis until you win your next MVP trophy. And Giannis is like, bet. Let's go. And it's, I don't know. Best. I'm on social media right now. I'm on Blue Sky, and the Bucks
Instead I'm on social media.
The Bucks apparently dropped an Instagram
How do you do,
post.
fellow kids?
I'm gonna make myself sound older every time I'm. The Bucks made an Instagram post of with Darvin Ham in the picture, and the caption reads 14-0 in the NBA Cup, which is amazing.
That's amazing. I told Rohan on our last pod. I mean, this is old hat at this point. He won on Thanasis. Thanasis is clearly vital. If you had to, there's probably, I don't know, at least 2 players on the roster right now who I'm like, yeah, Thanasis straight up over him, no question. Maybe more than 2.
Okay, so it's 1 Marjan. It's 2 DeLon Wright.
Correct.
Because bringing this back, we saw Pat Connaughton in this game.
We did.
More than DeLon Wright, who traditionally, like before Chris came back, took Chris's minutes, like those sort of like couple minutes in the rotation. As
we
like
got confirmation. Breaking. Giannis just told reporters he kept telling Liam Robbins that they were going to win the NBA Cup so that he could get a house in Iowa.
Oh, man.
Confirmed. They did it for Liam.
Wow.
Both Liams.
Yeah, both Liams.
Did it for Liam. Do you think Giannis considers Liam Robbins like a little bit like his son?
No.
No?
I'm sorry. I just had to
That's
go.
fair.
No.
Sorry, we can get back to the rotation, but we had to cover that.
What was I saying?
Pat Connaughton
Yes.
over DeLon Wright.
So we before Chris came back, we had seen DeLon Wright in these spot minutes when Dame wasn't on the court. You have to have some sort of ball handler out there. I thought we were going to see DeLon Wright with no Chris Middleton. No Chris Middleton, by the way, with an illness. I don't think we'd even said that.
I think Jordan might have mentioned it earlier. Yeah.
But we got PC instead. I'll tell you what. It's not the best basketball I've ever seen. However, wasn't the worst basketball I've ever seen.
It was
played.
somewhere in the middle of those
and that
two
is
things.
That is the Pat Connaughton experience that you can hope for at this point. And I thought it was a really interesting decision because I think there's 2 schools of thought. You can go with DeLon Wright, who I think is a better basketball player than Pat Connaughton, who clearly has no idea what he's doing with Giannis. Or you can get Pat Connaughton, who's a worse player, but knows how to play with Giannis. And I think that's a calculated decision.
It is a calculated decision. I think Pat is a worse defensive player. He may provide more utility to the Bucks offense than I will say he does provide more utility to the Bucks offense than DeLon Wright does in the roles that they are in. If the Bucks had Ryan Rollins, again, who I wish we had more clarity here. He didn't even get in the garbage time of the NBA Cup game. He's not on the injury report. Last time we saw him, he was gingerly holding his shoulder after getting hit in the shoulder. We have not seen him since then. Really hope that all is well. And, if there's got to be some sort of
post-injury.
Yeah, it was he played and he got hit in the shoulder and then held the shoulder.
It was not reassuring at all.
No, and I think he would be playing if he was truly healthy. Conspiracy tie, I guess, but officially uninjured on the injury report side of things. I think if there was a real backup point guard, then DeLon Wright maybe would be playing over Pat Connaughton, but it's got to be one of those two guys in that role to move the ball when Dame is not in the game at the moment and Chris is out, to your point. Pat does that thing better. He has not been able to hit shots. He was 0 for 1. He missed his only shot, which was a 3. He defensively, it's tough. I mean, he's getting lost on screens. He's jumping out of the way. If we've seen guys just drive right through him. I was at the Celtics game when Jaylen Brown just like discarded him. Like, He just wasn't even there. I mean, that's Jaylen Brown, but still, like it was a rough look. But he moves the ball. He keeps the offense going. He's a good driver. And that's a great point, Rohan. Like even with Bobby, there was some two-man action where they didn't get points out of it, but like he set up Bobby with a couple of pretty good shots in his minutes too, and they just didn't fall. They did need that, and I got why Pat came into the game. I wish his minutes had gone a little bit better. They did win them by 1 point, which is a pretty big indictment on OKC. But yeah, it is fascinating where they're at in the rotation right now, and the fact that DeLon Wright is, I mean, pretty squeezed at this point, it seems, if he's not going to play in this game with no Chris.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just sad state of affairs for the Connaughton.
Yes.
I don't know if it's a sad state of affairs. I think it's a good state of affairs with Pat Connaughton isn't.
No, for him.
For him individually.
What do you mean?
Like
He's got a. Did you see his whole real estate thing? He's fine.
Yeah, was that boardroom? Like,
yeah.
He's fine.
This is his side job, which is pretty sick flex.
Yeah. Working 9 to 5, unless if you're Pat Connaughton, that 9 to 5 is, I don't know, 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. because he's working 20-hour days.
Sure.
What did you guys think of the way Bobby Portis played in this game? See, I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it either.
It remarkably plus 13, and he was only 2 of 9 from the field. Like it was not a good offensive.
There were a few scary moments.
Yeah.
Like defensively and offensively, where I'm just like, But overall, I thought it was a pretty neutral game from him. He wasn't a featured piece, which I thought is good, even though I say he takes the fourth most shots on the team. But it's still, it wasn't like a Bobby black hole type of game, but it also wasn't a Bobby playing within his role kind of game. It was a weird like in between.
I thought it was mostly his role with Chris Middleton out. The shots just didn't fall.
Yeah.
I like the way he played, and I actually think, and there's obviously been like the groundswell of Bobby's support because he's played amazing basketball over the last 2 weeks or so.
Well, people will support you when you play good basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's kind of
He's cracked the solution. He's figured it out. He just needs to play well.
Yeah, that does help. But I thought it was a good point in the, keep Bobby case, right? Because I don't want to do a bunch of trade talk right after a Bucks NBA Cup championship, but that decision does still have to be made at some point in the next 2 months. I can't wait for Banner Day.
Is that going to be Friday?
I think it is the next home game. Someone asked in the chat. I don't know. They don't do parades, do they?
Let's get this parade going, baby.
Just a real quick one.
Vegas to Milwaukee, and don't fly. Let's take it all on a bus.
Just like the Dame entrance, that it's that long of a parade, just like from the parking lot into Fiserv.
Okay, yeah. The last time that happened, Bucks aren't doing parades. Never mind.
But to the Bobby thing, I think it's a really good sign for him that he had a bad shooting night, and we're all like, not a bad game overall, because early in the season it was total feast or famine. Either he's hitting a bunch of shots or his minutes are just a slog. And there wasn't a ton where I was like, oh, that's a great play from him. But I think it's nice to see 3 assists from Bobby is a big deal. He still pulled down 9 rebounds in less than 19 minutes. He's been attacking the glass more aggressively. I think they're making it work a little better. I think some of it's just on him. I think he's just playing better. He's more locked in on defense in the glass. But it's nice to see a Bobby game where you're just like, yeah, that was fine. Like, right? Like they can't all be this guy is the best sixth man in the league, or this guy is killing the Bucks. I hope we can have more. Where it's just like, yeah, that was a fine game from Bobby Portis. And to Ian in the chat said whack flag one on Bobby. It was fine.
He elbowed him in the head.
Yeah,
But he did. They said
It's
there was
just-
a
it was
wind
dumb.
up. There was not a no. I mean, I think it was accidental.
I mean, I'm sure it was accidental, but still, like, it's just dumb.
I didn't think it was like this glaring horrible play. It's a thing that happens to post players when the other team is all guys who are 6'5". Like, I just didn't think it was a big deal. Was my point of bringing it up. Like, it happens. I didn't think it was some crazy horrible Bobby play.
He's done worse.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think every big man in the league has picked up one of those at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know if it was a flagrant foul. Yeah, now that I think about it.
They said there was a wind up. He just turned. I mean, whatever. Maybe it is a flagrant foul. Like, I don't want to debate the call. I don't care that much.
It's like
but
he literally moved his arm.
Yeah, he was just
And that's
pivoting his
winding
core.
up. Like the pivot is the wind up. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is for the call. I would want it called, I'm sure, if it happened to a Bucks player, even though Giannis
I'd
got
want them
poked in the eye.
ejected from the game.
Yeah.
Suspended.
Did you see one of my
He
favorite
could
moments
have
of this
killed
game?
him.
Torian Prince, who had I thought defensively did okay, relatively anonymous game, solid. Torian Prince, that's his whole thing.
Two-time
Is
NBA
solid.
Cup champion.
Never has lost an NBA Cup game. When Dort got the tech, he goes to the ref. You can clearly hear him kick him out, like throw him out of the game. Thought that was hilarious. We're standing right next to Lou Dort, by the way, just over Lou Dort, saying, "Get him out of here."
I love TP, man.
He has been so good. Like, not a great game for him by any means, but just another very solid, very helpful game from Torian Prince.
Yeah.
I loved his lob to Giannis too.
Yes.
That was
The high-low in general. They had some beautiful bigs, high-lows.
Is this the most advanced Milwaukee Bucks offense we've seen in like 7 years?
It might be even more. Because as good as Bud's offense was, and
It was
like the
very
template
predictable.
foundation, yeah, it was very predictable. And then what made it better was, the original incarnation of it turned into the dunker, the 4 out 1 in dunker spot, and then it was just more of like when it really was crackling, it was Giannis doing great things, but it was Chris hitting shots and doing
Wait, what?
his.
Sorry,
what-
we have some new. Ty, are we
They're
looking at the same thing?
Yeah, they're not. They're not celebrating with champagne.
So this is from Chris Haynes, free agent. He says, Bucks coach Doc Rivers told me after talking with Darvin Ham and his experience with Lakers last season, they chose not to celebrate the cup, in caps, championship with dousing and drinking of champagne. Want to focus on the remainder of the season. And then it's just a photo of the champagne set up.
Yeah,
That is not champagne.
It's beer.
it's beer.
is
it's
Michelob Ultra.
Ultra.
Hey,
The
no free-
cool- Coolers-
Damn it! No, well, I'm drinking one too. They can have one free, Ed.
The coolers in the inside of the cover of the cooler says "worth it," and they're not doing.
I mean, wait, but I'm confused. Are they drinking the beer though?
Yeah, that's what I'm confused about. Are they
I
doing
think
beer?
they might be, but they're not like doing
They're
the
not
crazy
spraying
spray.
it?
I mean, we hate to mention it, but it goes back to Jeff Teague's comments about how lame the night of winning the championship was. Like, no, it got crazy because
Yeah.
that's just not. I don't. Yeah, that doesn't.
They're kind of a team of nerds. I think Dame will sneak out somewhere, but
Dame,
maybe he'll just go
Dame-
back and
Dame
watch
has someone
boxing.
there for him.
Yeah, Newmark said Glorilla. Is that true?
Yeah, she was there.
Newmark has made claims on these podcasts. It was
There's
just in
video
the
of
chat,
her
but
walking the red carpet.
I forgot there was a
There's a
red
red
carpet
carpet?
for this.
Yeah.
They shouldn't do this in Vegas again, right?
No, never.
Oh my
The
God.
crowd was
is
bad.
terrible.
All you
Terrible.
heard was the OKC guy behind the. Richard
I
Jefferson was
don't
joking.
even. I don't even know if it was an OKC guy.
Yeah, well, I know what Ty is talking about. There was the OKC guy that like kept bopping up and down like right over the Bucks bench. But the
No, I'm
people
talking
that
about the one behind the one you could hear on the broadcast. What I'm talking about.
I don't know. Those felt like neutral. It just felt like
They
this
were just
like
jurors?
beer league softball audience,
Yeah,
and it was just like that's where it was like a drag. I don't know. I get it.
yeah.
I get why they do it for the sake of where it is right now and expansion coming and just showing what a future market will look like. But It's not. It felt more summer league. And not even summer league is like that. Summer league, people go crazy. People like
Yeah.
Bucks fans are showing up. Obviously, Lakers contingent, if they're in the championship like they were last year, is going to show up. But tonight was very like
Maybe they need like a longer gap. Because this was really hard to play. Someone in our Discord did go. I think, was it Keegan? Sorry if I'm misremembering. Someone went with like their mom to Vegas for this, just for that, which I thought was awesome. But it's very short notice, right?
Yeah, it's like a week.
Not even. The Orlando game is only a couple days, like less than 1 week, I think, ahead of when the tournament play starts. So maybe they need to push it out
yeah,
more.
It was Tuesday to Saturday, right?
Yeah, like I think you need to put in a little bit longer gap, maybe. And then, at least your team will be in the Final Four.
Just make it the marquee Christmas game.
It's All-Star weekend. It should be All-Star weekend.
No, because they want it to be. They want it to be December. They want it to be. I think they want it to be before Christmas, though.
And they want to let most people get a break.
Yeah.
I think it should be the marquee Christmas game.
No, because they want bad teams on Christmas, don't they?
That's true.
Wasn't that the whole point of this Christmas slate?
They want the Sixers.
I totally forgot the Spurs are on the. Like I get it. It's Victor Wembanyama, but it's like Spurs, Knicks, so we can celebrate the finals during the lockout season, like in '99. Come on.
I wonder if they're gonna try and drum it. Is that gonna be in their rivals week too? Yeah. Everyone remembers
Jeff
this
Van
one.
Gundy and Greg Popovich showing off. Boom, boom, yeah.
45 Tim Duncan post hooks in a row.
Patrick Ewing just like trying to like the last years of his career.
Oh man,
holding on.
Yeah.
What
were you even saying? How did we get to start? We were talking about this Bucks offense. We were talking about the level of this Bucks offense.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's the spacing. I think it's the shooting that helps. It's not like Eric Bledsoe, Nikola Mirotic in Milwaukee shooting. It's tonight we saw like when you have Gary Trent Jr. on like the kind of above the break slot of a three, and you have plus shooters everywhere.
You got multiple guys who are capable of going on heaters.
And the passing is just getting better. Like there's just kind of like that institutional knowledge. Like when Torian Prince threw up that lob to Giannis, is like that is not something he usually does or is capable of doing, and he was doing it pretty easily. So
he's a comfortable driver now.
And even Dame's like, we think of him as like the scorer and the lethal shooter that he is, but his passing in whether it's pick and rolls or just kind of like within the flow of the offense, I don't know. It's getting
special. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, John.
I was just gonna say it's getting there. That this is where all the talk of how when they got Dame, it's like can be a top 5 NBA offense without a doubt, and now it just feels like that with more certainty.
Yeah, I think it's the best Bucks offense we've seen, whatever the stats say currently, because you drop in Dame for Bledsoe or even for Drew, and it's a cheat code, right? And I think the only thing holding them back right now is they just haven't had Chris for most of it. And if he's able to get back, I'm going to say when he's able to get back and be a starter again and you rediscover the shooting form, then I think they're just going to be, even this limited Chris we saw in the 4 games he's been back, even if he's not playing well, their offense is just at such a different level because he's another just plus ball mover, very smart, has all the institutional knowledge. This offense is great right now in a playoff sense, great, not like they score this many points per 100 possessions when they run down the floor against the Pistons. It's like they can break down the best defenses in the league and get the shots they want to get. And they're without one of their 3 most important, they're third, but one of their 3 most important players. So yeah, I think there's still a lot of room to grow here, but it was so nice to see them win a game defensively like this. And you could tell Giannis loved it. And I said during the game, Giannis loves to win this way. When they gave him the trophy, he's like, I love the way we won this game. Love all how the teammates played. This is the way he wants to play. Maybe he would prefer to have 120 and hold the other team to 79 or 81 or whatever. But it was so fun to watch them dominate defensively. And then, okay, things come up a little bit. Swing. Oh, Damian Lillard has the ball now. Yeah, that feels a little bit better. That feels a little bit better than, not wanting to besmirch any one particular player, but anyone they've had not named Giannis in the past.
It's a good duo.
It is the best duo in the National Basketball Association.
I don't know why I thought you were about to say the National Football League.
Nope. That is a different sport.
It's crazy.
It was also very, again, this season was not, it did not start on a good note. So
No.
when you kind of reach this check mark and the talk of like, this is a goal that we attained to when we were, at our lowest to start the year. And then even like the celebration of winning the cup, like it, even with people questioning the legitimacy of it and whatever you want to call it, it's still a marker for a team like the Bucks that started off horribly, and we're all like wondering if this is it, or like, you're worried about or getting anxious about like, are they gonna like blow it? Like, it's all the manufacturer talk, but like when they play as bad as they were to start the year, it's like those are valid thoughts to have. And whether it was the cup or whether it was just kind of finding the chemistry that they needed to kind of like buckle down and like focus on the task at hand. I thought it was
down.
buckle. I thought it was just like, it's just nice to see that they were, it didn't, I don't know, it mattered to them. They cared about wanting to win, and it showed in just even the celebration where Adam Silver is awkwardly talking and Giannis is fact checking him, which is just amazing that he cares that much about, like, I want my accolades. Give me my flowers, damn it.
Yeah. Giannis knows there's no special love toward him from the league, even though there should be. Ian brought up Brook Lopez. I think that's the last rotation player that we haven't talked about specifically. Probably, I thought he was good. I thought he came through with some big threes when they needed him in the second half. Defensively, these young, fast teams are tough for him, but he hung in there. He stayed out on the court, right? Like, he didn't, I don't think, got totally played off the court, even though he didn't have the impact you would hope. And then I think Hartenstein cooling down made his life a lot easier in the second half. But overall, I thought a solid Brook game. And it's nice to see this. And then the Atlanta game, kind of him rounding back into form after what had been a tough couple of weeks.
I wasn't thrilled with his performance per se. Like, I'm not saying like, oh man, this is a staunch Brook Lopez performance. I feel like I've said this a lot today, but I was sort of in the middle of his performance.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best Jordan Treske impression right
Yeah.
now. Jordan, you should not know this. No. But like you said, like in the first half, Hartenstein really hitting those floaters was really tough for Brook. There were a couple instances where he didn't even get a contest on shots,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is very not like Brook Lopez. The usual thing with Brook Lopez is he'll get a contest on like a shot fake into a pass or something, where it's like, you know what? At least you're contesting. You're trying to contest. Where there were a few possessions this game where we didn't see that. I think his threes kind of saved his performance today. Like shooting 3 of 6 from deep, 50%. That's not a traditional Brook Lopez game at all. Hopefully that's speaks well for his shooting going forward. But in terms of his overall impact, I thought it was a little rough. But the issue really is like the Bobby Giannis lineups aren't perfect. The Giannis with Taurean Prince at the 4, Chris Middleton, which wasn't an option today, lineups are fine, but you can't do it a lot. The Brook Giannis lineups are good, but when you have like a double big situation, it kind of gets or a single big situation kind of gets a little tricky at times. I don't think they really found a true happy medium there. I think it was a lot of it just Giannis dominating like defensively, and he stepped up to be able to do that, like we talked about earlier. But Brook Lopez overall, I mean, I think he's shown that he can hang in this matchup, which I think is really important for if this is a potential finals preview. But I wasn't wowed, but I didn't hate it.
His high-low stuff with Giannis was a big deal for them in the second quarter, too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think he just finds ways to figure it out and be helpful enough. They just need enough guys to play minutes, too. He played a lot of minutes in this game. up there with Giannis. And I don't know. I agree. I mean, I wasn't wowed. I wasn't. Oh, we need to do stock still. I wasn't like, oh, this is a huge upstock game for Brook Lopez, but I thought he was quite helpful.
Yeah, we can't even include the record in the stock tweet because it doesn't even count towards the record.
1-0.
Yeah.
Never lost a NBA Cup championship game. I mean, how many? Well, we can do whatever we want because it's not.
It's our thing, you know.
Well, that's our thing. I was gonna say, but we're gonna. So what we're gonna do is it doesn't. It's obviously not a regular season game, but we are going to. We're gonna count these toward the stock market this year. So I was gonna say, do we give Giannis like 10 or something crazy? But no, we shouldn't because it'll throw off the season long.
What if we just do like a singular stock? Because this is a singular game that doesn't count towards the. Like we'll just say Giannis plus 50 or something. Like,
What Jordan? What do you tiebreaker vote? Do we count it towards season long? Okay.
season? Okay.
I think because
we care about this.
yeah, we care about it. We'll talk about. We don't want that season to end anytime soon, but we'll talk about the fact that they won the NBA Cup and that's part of their season. You know?
Yeah. Well, are we thinking 3 for Giannis here?
Triple double, 4 block. What do you finish with? 4 blocks. 3 blocks.
5 stocks, 2 steals, 3
5
blocks.
stocks.
In an
pushing
NBA
3.
Cup final.
Uncharted territory. There's literally only been one before.
Yeah. And we did not do stocks for Lakers Pacers for damn
Sequel
sure.
was better than the original.
I'll tell you what,
It was way better.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
what. With the Packers winning the first 3 Super Bowls, that's revered in history, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks have won the second NBA Cup.
I'm telling you, Darvin Ham is going down in history. It's a little Rudolph homage
I was trying to figure out what song it was.
for my Christmas
Yeah,
heads.
little reindeer.
How many Christmas
Yeah.
heads are in the chat?
Hopefully a lot. Who's not a Christmas head?
Sure.
What? It means you like Christmas.
Yeah, I know.
You don't like Christmas?
I didn't say that at all.
Rohan's the Grinch.
Well, how have we gotten here?
The Brook Lopez Grinch and the Christmas Grinch.
Listen,
Yeah, Space Turtle said Christmas rips. That's right. Bold take in the chat, but I agree with it.
Thank you, Space
Yeah.
Turtle.
Giannis up 3. We got to give Dame 1.
yeah, I think so. Dame won something, by the way.
We did.
Not a surprise.
That's awesome. No, like, good for Dame, man.
Yeah,
He was enjoying it.
He finally won something. Did you notice he was like, as soon as they were lifting the trophy, he was like, is it okay for me to touch it now? He remembers
my
last year.
God.
He remembers last year.
Yeah. Everything just went so much better this trip. From the off-court stuff to the on-court stuff.
Also, the Pacers suck. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. How it started? How's it going? You know, kind of
Yeah.
hours right now.
They speed ran the 21 Hawks thing.
Oh, they really did. Unequivocally.
Now the Hawks might be better.
I think they are better.
I would
Yeah.
say so.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Gary Trent Jr. up.
Yeah, I think 1 for each of the Shea defenders?
Yeah. Ajax, AJ Green, Gary Trent. I mean,
Yeah, I think
Shea's putting up Kobe jersey numbers, so like it's crazy. Like
shooting tour
It's
dates.
true. On 8/24, I'll be in Mobile, Alabama.
He's got 8-24, 2-9, and 3-4 were all of his shooting splits. So those are all dates.
free throws dedicated to Giannis.
Yeah.
2-9, who's number 29? I don't know.
No one. No one notable wears number 29.
That's number 29.
I was going to say, you're going to be able to throw
Jamal
some
McCord,
legend at me.
Paul Silas.
Diakite.
Wow.
No
Perfect.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
With the Bucks?
For the Bucks?
No, he did it with the Spurs.
Spurs.
Oh, because they probably have a lot of retired. That makes sense.
Let's see. Is anyone of note?
Paul Silas is the best number 29.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's clearly Paul Silas. Okay.
Marcus Camby. Well, that was late stage Marcus Camby.
Jakar
Yeah.
Sampson.
Oh, I had a soft spot for Jakar Sampson for 5 years there.
Dude,
A
Fun
long
fact.
time.
There's
Yeah.
not been a Milwaukee Buck that has worn the number 29.
Yet.
Until Shea did it today because he put that up for the
Oh.
Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh,
Got him.
got him.
I think, but yeah, any of the Shea defenders getting up. Giannis 3 up, Dame up. I think that's fair.
Doctor.
Doc up,
Doctor.
yeah, Doc up.
Doc up.
Doctor.
Doctor.
We're calling him Dr. Rivers now. We've
Sir Doc Rivers.
we've
back- he
long
finished
have we
his
come from the
schooling.
days from Mr. Rivers. Now he's just Dr. Rivers.
He's got the doctorate.
Rivers.
If
If he dropped that cup, he would have been Mr. Rivers. That face, like he's like, oh,
He would have just been Rivers.
Rivers.
well,
can't disrespect
maybe he
the NBA
maybe
Cup
he
like
wanted
that.
to maybe he wanted to drop it. Apparently they're very demure about this whole thing.
Let's be honest, they're going out somewhere else.
I mean, yeah, I would hope so. When's the next game?
It's Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, they got time. Although they've been in Vegas for a long time.
That's true. That's a long time to be in Vegas.
They might fly out tonight.
But Doc said during his presser that they legitimately haven't been drinking like before this game.
It's adorable. Doc thinks that he knows what all the guys in the team have been up to this whole time.
See, the thing is, I think Doc's like the type of coach that'll be like a high school teacher to like put like.
You think Doc's like an English teacher?
Yeah.
Oh, in that sense.
I think he's that kind of guy. He put like 4 reams of tape on Dame's door. Like, you are not getting out. Listen, Glorilla's coming after.
I was gonna say if we get a Dame Glorilla out on the town pick out of this weekend,
I'll ascend.
up there with the championship for
Oh,
me.
100%.
With the other championship, I should say.
Yeah.
By the way, Glorilla's music incredible.
Yeah, Glow.
I've never heard it.
You should, after this pod, in headphones, you'll wake up the whole neighborhood, and you have to like settle yourself because it's very exciting. It's a lot of energy. Great enunciation.
I might listen to it in the morning. Wake me up.
Yeah,
With my cup of
Jor,
coffee.
you should. It's good. It's good music. Ian's hating. It's good music.
Nah, we support any Dame supporters here. Come on, Ian.
Moose Machine. Wonder if Dame drops a song soon. It's been a while. Which
Nah,
honestly,
he's too locked in.
really strong self-awareness from him.
Yes, truly.
Like if during the doldrums year 1, imagine he's like promoting a single on. I would have been mad.
I would have been
dude.
so mad. I would have been seething.
On the topic of I would have been mad if I saw my head coach look the way Mark Daigneault looked after the kerfuffle and some of the calls, I would have been mad. He just said this. I don't know how he got a tech, by the way.
He just
I don't
stood
know
there.
what he must have. He must have said something egregious because the look on his face just.
Just dead. Just nothing.
Like
Nothing at all.
an
He looked like
absent teacher of just like I don't know how to teach
It-
these kids. How do I
it-
reach these kids?
that's good. It gave me Jim Halpert looking at the camera when Michael says
Oh,
something
yeah.
problematic. Like, no, you have to do something here.
Yeah.
You have to be part of this. You can't just do the cutaway. He's just like,
He's
it's getting
just there.
spooky out here.
Yeah,
it's
he's
getting
like,
scary.
He's not doing those into the third quarter interviews like Doc is requesting to do.
No.
No.
He's
That's
Doc
probably
is-
part of his deal with the Bucks to really, or that was part of his
100%.
like national like the buyout
Yeah.
in his contract is like, hey,
Yeah.
Doc, when you're coaching the Bucks, you have to do these interviews.
He loves it. He lives for it.
Like even Stan was like, hey, I miss you on the broadcast. They weren't even on the same network.
No. Yeah, I didn't get that at all. They really were like hammering home. He's like, first of all, he was on those broadcasts for 3 months. And it was
And on
another
ESPN.
network.
Yeah.
They miss him so much.
Yeah, they're like, oh god.
Well, you think about it though. It's a double brotherhood. Coaching brotherhood and broadcasting brotherhood. You know how serious Stan is about those things?
That's true.
Stan would jump in front of a speeding car that was going toward Doc Rivers.
Was Rondo there? We seen Rondo. When's the last time we saw Rondo?
We saw Rondo recently.
He was there.
Yeah.
Rachel Nichols interviewed him.
No.
And
KG said he's trying
KG
to get a
showed up and-
5-day contract, which is not a real contract.
Yeah.
KG, I love that Giannis just like kind of dismissed KG. Just He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Giannis
I'm already a better all-time, like a more accomplished all-time player and better all-time player than you are. So, like,
think Giannis was like had that comment in his mind of when KG was like, "Thon Maker's gonna be MVP." He's like, "You just say stuff, don't you?" That's what you
He's a
do.
yapper.
The big ticket.
and he said, what was his quote? He was like, me and KG when we were working out, KG was the one sweating and I was the one working out. And it's like people were taking that as a compliment. I'm like, I think that's an indictment on KG.
And what was he doing?
I don't know. Like,
I think he stopped doing those. He's just like a media guy now, which
Yeah,
I think is better.
he's
Although
just-
I do miss that the top of his hoodie just not moving from his head. I don't know how it happened.
he taped it. He has to have taped it.
Yeah.
He must have.
There's
Or,
no way.
maybe he's got like a little bump on his
Yeah.
noggin.
Yeah.
It's like a road.
Just like a little hook.
It's a road little bump.
Anything is possible. Like the squat bone on your back.
Mm-hmm.
He evolved midlife to
He's I don't know. He's an alien. Could be an alien form. I don't know. Drones.
drones.
Oh man. So what do we think of AJ Johnson in that minute 37?
Wrap it up.
Yeah, he couldn't really
He's
finish
still
any of
he's
that.
still
It's good.
he's still cooking. He's still cooking. He's still cooking in the herd development oven.
Yep.
Incubator.
The incubator. Do you remember that what was it? It was a Bleacher Report like sort of like skit where it was like what was it? Oh, I sound crazy. But there was like an image and it was like a song and there was like just like a still of it and one of them was like Pat McCaw and like Jordan Bell in like an incubator.
Oh yeah.
It's
with,
like the We Are the Super Team sort of song.
Yeah.
What?
You remember
Yeah.
that?
No, I don't. I'm just trying to help you.
Oh no, I gotta find it. I'll send it to you guys.
Oh,
Does anyone in the
okay.
chat know what I'm talking about? Or am I just making
Chat.
something up?
Chad, are you aware of also we have people saying credit Ajax. We did. We did this whole earlier segment. So you may have missed it, but Ajax is a elite defender.
Yeah, Super Team, a Warriors musical. It was from Bleacher Report in 2016.
Ugh.
Yeah, I wouldn't have watched this.
You wouldn't have?
No, I don't want to. I'm not like, oh, let me hear more about how great the Warriors are.
It was actually kind of sick. I can't even lie.
Well, I'm not saying it wasn't good. It's more of a personal thing for me. Like when the Celtics won the title, I didn't watch the ceremony. You know, I don't need to see that. That's not going to bring me any joy.
Yeah.
That's fair. Hey, that's how all 29 other teams felt watching the Bucks raise that NBA Cup trophy, as we have talked about, and just so satisfying to be able to win something. I'll tell you what, the NBA Cup means something, and it means so much more when you win. Like when the team you cover wins, it just means that much more. I'll tell you what. Do you want to know how I know this was very, very, very competitive basketball? I love the Thunder as a team. I love the Thunder. I think they're a great team. I think they're a great story. I'm a big fan of the Thunder. I was so annoyed at how the Thunder were playing basketball. And I was like, that's how I know. That's how I know that this is a high stakes competitive environment because they were making me mad. The way they were
For
playing.
me, it was when J-Dub got the travel call and he just goes, finally! And they're all running around the court clapping like they just won something meaningful, which they've never done in the NBA. I was like, oh, I'm ready to see these guys get taken down a notch here. I hope the Bucks can do it. And they did, which was great.
They were definitely trying to do the external, like, celebrate Giannis traveling or any foul call they were going, possible foul call, because a lot of it wasn't called. But
Yeah.
they were trying to win that game, and it felt like more of like, you need something to rely on to get your team going, and they just obviously didn't have it going. So it's like, when that's not happening, you're getting more flustered and frustrated. It's like, yeah, you played like dog crap.
You got to bring the energy somewhere when your coach is just giving you the pouty duck face over and over on the sideline. there.
Yeah. It's like, where's Pam? That's what he's saying.
Oh, Dwight.
Oh,
Dwight, I should
I'm
say.
gonna
That's how you
super
pronounce
glue
it.
his stapler. That's what he's thinking.
They should do like an
and then-
office style sitcom for when the teams are in Vegas.
Doc put Dagnall's clipboard in Jello. On the basketball floor. That's an analogy.
And he's going
Jump
he's going on the
ball.
broadcast. Hey guys, look what I did with Dak. I put in Jello.
Dude, your doc is
Was
still
that
pretty
your doc?
That was my
Yeah,
doc.
it's pretty good.
That's actually really good.
Thank
I
you.
know. I can't do it at all.
I just like I like him. Ugh, God, I can't even talk.
You got to be careful. You're gonna need a throat guide too.
That's the joke I was
Nah.
trying to make. Dang it. I was gonna say I'm trying to make my voice where I need to have my throat guy call for an evaluation. But
When I was in college, I lost my voice once after I went out partying and yelling about sports and eating a bunch of spicy wings. Eating spicy wings on a sore throat is not the move.
Terrible.
And I could do a perfect Doc Rivers. And way before he's the Bucks coach. He's at the Clippers still, I think. And I had so much fun with it, and like no one around me appreciated it. Like, you know what I mean? They weren't that deep into basketball where they found Doc that funny. But it tickled me. So I'm very jealous of you, Rohan.
thank you. I don't even know. This is a very celebratory podcast. Is there actually going to be a parade?
I don't think so. I think they'll hang a
Where's
banner.
the video of Peter Fagan just absolutely
I think
cooked
that
out of
is-
his mind?
That is the lesson that is being taught tonight. Is they don't want Pete Fagan 2.0.
Well, if it happens, it would
Worth
probably be at that home game.
It's also way too cold.
I think they're
Yeah.
gonna raise a banner.
Oh
And
yeah,
I think
Adam
they get
Silver's holding
rings.
them.
They
at
get rings,
gunpoint.
right?
Yeah, I believe so.
They got those medals too.
Yeah, there's a lot of jewelry and hardware going on here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, love me.
But
some jewelry.
do they still do the rings? You don't get medals for the finals, do you?
I doubt
think
that they
you get
have
anything
rings
that
that they're getting
day.
medals.
Yeah, that's my thing. That's a lot of hardware.
Yeah. Get a medal like a Boy Scout. That just feels like very like Cub Scout, Boy Scout.
Yeah, like you get your Olympic medal. You don't then also get a ring.
Yeah.
Unless imagine some nerd like orders the ring from Jostens for their Olympic team appearance. Are you guys gonna get the ring
They
too?
don't get a ring.
Well, yeah, you can't get both.
Yeah, they don't get a ring. That's crazy.
Just Bam Adebayo coming up to the guys. What kind of ring from Jostens did you guys get to celebrate this? Oh, we got the medal. That's all we wanted. Oh, yeah, me too. Hides the ring.
Justin's is an elite pull.
Austin's is
Jostens.
a very elite ball.
I thought everybody got class rings because the Jostens guy gave me an incredible pitch, and I talked to, and they're like, no, we're not doing that.
You just
Yeah.
got Jostined. That's what
I didn't order it, thankfully.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, why would I do that?
I was like, man, I guess this is a really important moment in my life. I should remember with a weird brown-looking stone.
What'd you call me?
Oh, come on.
And on that note,
A stone, really?
no, that is me being annoying. Ty is in the clear.
This time.
This I don't trying to be nice to you. Why are you dragging yourself in the mud? I'm the one clear. Whatever.
I'm the weird brown stone,
Okay.
after all, because of the mud. My grandma used to say, your name will be mud if you do something wrong. Jordan, have you ever heard that expression? I know Rohan won't have.
Wait, what is it? If my
You're,
grandmother
no.
Oh,
Well,
my
no.
goodness.
She'd say, like, if you were gonna like almost knock something over, she'll be like, if you break that, your name will be mud. I guess that's something they said back in the day. That was like
I feel like I heard a variation on that of like,
yeah.
you know.
One time I told her, I was like, mud would be a cool name. And her, like, she short circuited, like, couldn't process that. She's like, no, it's bad. It's bad. It's not good. It's bad. And I was like, I shouldn't say that to her again because I think I just took a month off of her life.
She wasn't a big Primus fan.
No. She did
Primus?
not want
Primus
anyone's
has
name
a
to be
song called
Mud.
My Name is Mud.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought you were talking
she-
about the Transformers thing.
Yeah.
Dr. Primus.
Dr. Primus. What are we doing here?
Primus Rivers.
Primus Rivers.
Do the outro. We've lost it.
Rivers.
Privia
We've
Rivers.
lost it. We've totally lost it. This is what Cup elation does.
Oh man, I'm so happy the Bucks actually won the NBA Cup. But yeah,
I need the DVD.
Yeah, we didn't even get a championship DVD.
They just don't do DVDs anymore. Aubrey Plaza can't even get a DVD of a movie she's in or a show.
That's a very specific reference.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah.
She wants to watch White Lotus, and she doesn't have HBO, and they won't send her a Blu-ray because they don't make them. The Blu-ray/DVD industry is just in the crap.
That's kind of messed up.
Right?
Physical
You would
media
think
is
for someone
important.
in it, they don't make it really.
Yeah.
Someone at HBO can't like throw a disc in the old comp. Computers don't have disk drives anymore. Yeah.
That's fair. You have to buy an external disk drive. You have to burn it on your Xbox.
Horrible.
Bring back movie commentaries.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Or like the little
essential piece that we've
menus.
lost.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I got to go to Ollivander's and pick out my wand with the remote on the DVD.
That's a memory just pulled. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Like the
Think of how much time went into those DVDs for all those little things that 99% of people probably didn't even do.
I feel like I did it.
I did it, but I mean, you know, back when we had
Sometimes they would have
artisans
like
and
little games
craftsmen.
and stuff.
They would do games or like deleted scenes, outtakes, so that you
Some
can.
people,
Yeah.
some people listening to this are like, "What is a DVD?"
That is true.
I hope not, but you might be right.
I think, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, we appreciate you listening. Obviously, we've been
Yeah.
support that, but it's like, damn, are we old?
They weren't back when me and Rohan were using our 8 tracks way back in the day. I didn't use an 8-track, Rohan.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh,
Wrap it up.
Oh, you know what? One of these times I'm actually going to wrap it up. Hey, you know what? Thank you for listening. To the people who have been here live, appreciate you sticking with us. Love the engagement in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button and turn on notifications to know when we go live next. We like to do these after big games, you know, there's big games on the calendars, you know. We do these every now and then, so you know, make sure you have notifications on. But those who are listening after the fact, we appreciate you as well. And make sure you check out gspn.info if you want to hear us just completely unhinged, off the rails, just wanting to. I don't know what Ty's doing.
I'm trying to point at you.
Okay.
The one Mick Ultra hit. I'm barely holding on.
If you want to hear us just completely unhinged and talking whatever, check out gspn.info. You get GSPN After Dark, which is an exclusive podcast. We just did a winter or holiday activities draft. There will be a holiday Christmas movie draft coming soon. But yeah, exclusive podcast every week, commercial free feed of all GSPN pods, written content, bonus stuff, $8 a month. Helps support the team. Lets me get more watches. I don't know.
I feel like it's all being funneled toward the watch fund.
I wish, man. I wish. But no, I'm in all seriousness, it means a lot for those who are subscribed. But even if you're not listening on your podcast platform of choice or watching, we appreciate you as always. Make sure you're subscribed. Leave a 5-star rating and review on your podcast platform of choice. Subscribe on the YouTube to the YouTube channel. Engage in the comment section. Pod Random, NBA Cup champions. We'll talk to you next time. Game's out, baby.